When Hollywood spin finally collides with a courtroom, the truth doesn't bend as easily as headlines. And this week, a judge made it very clear he's running out of patience with Blake Lively's narrative. For months, Blake has presented herself as the wounded victim of Justin Baldoni's so-called smear campaign, claiming he destroyed her career, ruined her public image, and left her unemployable in Hollywood. But when you look past the PR strategy, a different story emerges. Because while she insists she's lost everything, she's also quietly signing new movie deals and arranging media rollouts to make sure the industry sees her as a thriving Hollywood powerhouse. And the moment those two stories collided, her courtroom narrative and her public persona, the mask started slipping. The latest courtroom drama came through actress Isabella Ferrer, one of Blake's closest allies. Ferrer accused Baldoni's legal team of harassment simply for attempting to serve her a subpoena. She wanted the judge to punish Baldoni and paint him as the aggressor. But the plan backfired spectacularly. The judge rejected her request with zero hesitation. No sanctions, no penalties, nothing. Instead, he told Baldoni's lawyers to keep trying to serve her, because Ferrer cannot run forever. That ruling was a major blow to Lively's legal strategy, because it exposed what her camp has been trying so hard to hide. They are not trying to present evidence, they are trying to avoid it. If Baldoni were truly the villain they claim he is, why is Ferrer dodging process servers like she has something to lose? Why hide from testimony if the truth is supposedly on their side? This judge's ruling didn't just embarrass Lively's team, it punctured the illusion they've been building for months. Because meanwhile, while Blake insists that Baldoni destroyed her career, she's simultaneously staging a flashy Hollywood comeback. She just announced a new Lionsgate deal for The Survival List, a film she's being promoted as starring in and producing. But behind the headlines, the project has no director, no cast, and only one producer attached. A hollow announcement with no confirmed production path. The same pattern appears on her IMDb. Big announcements, no delivery. The Husband's Secret was announced 8 years ago, and it never materialized into anything beyond publicity buzz. Online reaction didn't go the way she hoped either. When news of the Lionsgate deal broke, social media dragged her. Some joked the title, The Survival List, referred to the remaining actors willing to work with her. And this contradiction is exactly what is now catching up to her in court. You can't claim in filings that your career is dead, while publicly showcasing new deals to prove you're still in demand. You can't claim to be powerless, while running Hollywood PR plays behind the scenes. And you can't claim Baldoni is a menace, while your own witness is literally hiding to avoid speaking under oath. Because in a courtroom, spin isn't evidence, and sooner or later the truth shows up, even if a witness is hiding from a subpoena. Blake Lively has crafted two very different versions of herself, one for judges and one for Hollywood cameras. In her court filings, she paints herself as a broken woman, a star allegedly blacklisted and unable to work because of Justin Baldoni. She argues that her reputation is so damaged, she has no future in the industry. But publicly, she's curating a Hollywood comeback narrative, interviews, studio leaks, and headline placements designed to show she's still a profitable face for the industry. And that contradiction is exactly what is now threatening to unravel her entire case. Because a judge doesn't care about PR optics. A judge cares about credibility. You cannot tell a court your career is dead, while simultaneously shopping new film deals to the press. You can't claim Baldoni destroyed your professional standing, while announcing yourself as a producer and lead in a major studio project. And here's the most damaging part for Blake. This is not a one-time slip, it's a pattern. She's been attaching her name to upcoming projects for nearly a decade, many of which never went into production. That's not momentum, that's reputation management disguised as career progress. Which is why legal analysts are saying her storyline is starting to collapse. The more she fights Baldoni publicly, the more she exposes the weakness in her case privately. And while she's trying to posture as Hollywood's comeback queen, her own witness, Isabella Ferrer, is out here ducking subpoenas like a fugitive. If Ferrer had nothing to hide, she'd simply testify. If Blake's case were as strong as she claims, her allies wouldn't be running. And that's exactly why the judge's ruling was so brutal. Not because it punished Ferrer, but because it stripped away the illusion that Lively's side is acting in good faith. The court sent a message. If your team believes they're the victims, then show up and prove it. But they're not proving anything. They're avoiding scrutiny. Meanwhile, Baldoni is the one still facing everything head-on, filing motions, appearing in court, and pushing the case forward instead of running from it. And this isn't even the most damaging twist for Lively, because documents emerging now suggest her entire blacklisted victim narrative was built on PR timing, not truth. And the next reveal makes it impossible for her to keep hiding behind victimhood. Because once you lay out the timeline, Blake's story doesn't just fall apart, it exposes intent. She wasn't forced out of Hollywood. She was actively negotiating new deals while claiming under oath that she was unemployable. She wasn't being silenced by Justin Baldoni, she was staging media pushes to look in demand at the exact same time she was telling. The court her reputation was irreversibly destroyed. That is not the behavior of a victim. That is the behavior of someone building a legal narrative, not a legal case. And the judge sees it. This ruling about Ferrer wasn't just about a missed subpoena. It was a warning shot. The court is signaling, stop playing PR games and start producing facts. And this is where everything turns dangerous for Lively. Because subpoenas don't just force testimony, they force discovery. Emails, messages, contracts, internal PR strategies. Private coordination between her camp and studios. If Ferrer and others linked to the film are compelled to testify under oath, the curtain drops. We stop seeing the designed narrative and start seeing what really happened behind the scenes. Once discovery begins, Blake Lively doesn't control the story anymore. And that is what her team is terrified of. Because if there was even one instance of coordinated media manipulation, or a strategic PR push staged to appear like a comeback while she claimed emotional damage in court, the foundation of her lawsuit collapses. A person can't be both: a blacklisted, broken, unemployable victim, and a rising, in-demand Hollywood power player. At the same time, soon she will have to choose one version: the courtroom version or the Hollywood version. And whichever one she abandons becomes proof she fabricated the other. And that's the trap she built for herself. And here's the trap Blake walked straight into. Her own success is now evidence against her. If Justin Baldoni had truly destroyed her career, Hollywood wouldn't be signing her to new projects. Studios wouldn't be attaching her name to new films. Producers wouldn't be entertaining her as a lead. You can't be blacklisted and booking deals at the same time. And juries notice contradictions like that. To a courtroom, this doesn't look like trauma. It looks like performance. It looks calculated. It looks like a carefully staged victim arc meant to win sympathy, not truth. Even Page 6 reported how the internet clowned the comeback. Users joked the real survival list was the list of people trying to survive working with her. And now Blake is boxed in if she keeps booking jobs. She proves she was never blacklisted. If she stops booking jobs, it proves studios never wanted her to begin with. There is no version of this where her credibility survives unchanged. But then, this scandal took another hard turn. Because the moment Blake's narrative started crumbling, journalist James Vitusa re-entered the picture and blew a hole straight through her case. Vitusa's original affidavit was the lifeline that helped Lively's team dodge deeper legal trouble. He swore that her publicist, Leslie Sloan, never tried to plant negative stories about Baldoni. That one statement helped get Sloan and others dismissed from the suit. But now he has overturned his own testimony. In a new affidavit, Vitusa claims he was pressured into signing the first one. Suddenly, it wasn't Sloan at fault. It was Baldoni's lawyers. That complete 180 didn't strengthen Blake's position. It obliterated his credibility. Why? Because his own emails and messages, already public, show the opposite. He called Sloan a liar. He acknowledged she tried to plant damaging stories. He knew exactly what she was doing. He wasn't protecting the truth. He was rewriting it after the fact. So what does he look like now? A witness who contradicts himself, a journalist who broke the 41 rule of journalism, a man fired not by Baldoni, but by his own newsroom for ethics breaches. And here's the kicker. If Sloan actually had legitimate dirt on Baldoni, there would be no reason for Vitusa to lie in either direction. The flip-flop proves the smear campaign story was constructed, not discovered. Meanwhile, as Blake's narrative unravels in court, Ryan Reynolds is falling apart in public. He launched a new cross-promotion, Aviation Gin plus Wrexham FC, and expected another charming viral moment. Instead, it bombed. Hard. Comments flooded in roasting him for tone-deaf timing, self-promotion, and shameless brand milking while Blake is drowning in scandal. The backlash got so overwhelming, he turned comments off entirely. The king of social media engagement hid from engagement. The comedy mask slipped, The PR shine cracked. And suddenly, Hollywood isn't looking at a power couple. They're looking at a liability. Because in this industry, optics are currency. And right now, every time Ryan takes a hit, Blake sinks with him. They're no longer a golden brand. They're a walking PR hazard. Hollywood is built on one thing: risk calculation. Studios don't hire talent because they're morally perfect. They hire them because they are predictable, profitable, and safe. And right now, Blake and Ryan are none of those things. Behind the scenes, executives are quietly doing what Hollywood always does when a star becomes radioactive. They slowly pull back. No public statements, no dramatic cancellations, just quiet distancing. Meetings get postponed. Email replies take longer than expected. Deals move into development limbo. Phones stop ringing. It's not loud. It's surgical. Because nobody in Hollywood wants to be the studio that invests millions into a star at the center of a legal circus that gets uglier by the day. Industry insiders are already talking about it. Blake is no longer a guaranteed asset. She's a potential legal liability. And Ryan? He's losing what used to be his biggest currency: likability. The once beloved funny guy entrepreneur has turned into a walking advertisement pushing another product every 5 minutes. It doesn't read as charm anymore. It reads as desperation. And now, studios are asking a question they were never supposed to say out loud. Are Blake and Ryan worth the PR fallout anymore? That question is deadly in Hollywood. Because when investors start doubting you, your career doesn't end with a scandal. It ends with silence. Even more damaging, Blake and Ryan are double-framed. If they fight back, they look guilty. If they stay silent, they look cornered. There is no escape route. They trapped themselves in their own narrative. And this is where the Hollywood machine turns cold. Right now, the couple's public image is shifting from beloved celebrity power duo to entitled out-of-touch PR manipulators trying to bully their critics into silence. The industry can forgive almost anything, except embarrassment. And Blake's lawsuit has turned into one long public self-inflicted humiliation. But the most damaging part is still ahead, because Baldoni's side hasn't even played their strongest card yet. There is testimony coming that Blake's team has desperately tried to keep out of court. And when it lands, it won't just hurt her reputation. It could shatter the entire lawsuit. So while Justin Baldoni is quietly fighting his legal battle with evidence, receipts, and sworn testimony, Blake and Ryan are stuck in an endless loop of PR smoke and mirrors, fake optics, collapsing narratives, and public embarrassment. But the biggest twist is this. The very evidence Blake thought would save her is now destroying her case from the inside. Blake built this lawsuit on one claim, that Justin Baldoni ruined her career and reputation with a smear campaign. But every development is exposing that narrative as nothing but a manufactured storyline. Her own witness, Isabella Ferrer, running from subpoenas and getting called out by the judge. Their journalist James Vitusa, caught flip-flopping under oath and destroying his own credibility. And Blake herself, telling the court she's unemployable while signing new Hollywood deals in the press. That's not just embarrassing. That's fatal in court. Because a jury sees it like this. Either she's lying about being blacklisted, or she's lying about her career comeback. Either way, she's lying. And the moment a jury catches you in one lie, they start questioning everything else you've said. Meanwhile, Baldoni doesn't need PR theatrics. He doesn't need staged comebacks or planted headlines. His entire defense is built on facts. And every time Blake's team tries to twist the truth, they get exposed by judges, journalists, and their own contradictions. This case isn't unraveling, it's self-destructing. Every move Blake makes boomerangs back against her. Every PR stunt reinforces Baldoni's argument. Every collapse in her story shows this was never about justice. It was about control and image management. And while Blake is spiraling, Ryan Reynolds isn't doing much better. His latest ad campaign was roasted so badly online, he had to shut down the comments. A brutal signal that the public isn't buying his charm act anymore. The Reynolds lively power couple brand has flipped into something much darker. Desperation disguised as PR. So let's be honest. This lawsuit isn't exposing a smear campaign. It's exposing them. Because when this goes before a jury, the contrast will be crystal clear. Baldoni, evidence. Lively and Reynolds, spin. Hollywood runs on illusion, but illusions eventually collapse under the weight of reality. And we're watching that collapse in real time. But here's where the entire case takes an even darker turn. Because once a jury realizes Blake lied about her career status, They don't just see a contradiction, they see intent. Intent to mislead. Intent to manipulate. Intent to weaponize the court of public opinion. And once intent is established, the narrative shifts completely. Suddenly, Justin Baldoni isn't the aggressor. He's the one fighting off a coordinated smear campaign. Suddenly, the lawsuit doesn't look like justice. It looks like reputation laundering. And suddenly, all those PR headlines start looking less like news and more like damage control. Meanwhile, the public sentiment that Blake and Ryan spent years cultivating is evaporating. Not because people hate them, but because people hate fakery. They hate being emotionally manipulated. They hate being fed curated victimhood, while the facts tell a very different story. This is why the backlash is growing, not disappearing. And here's the part Blake's team was never prepared for. Once the internet flips on you, PR can't fix it. Money can't fix it. Spin can't fix it. Because people don't forget lies, especially when they invested emotionally in believing you. Ryan is discovering this in real time. The silence, the running from comments, the desperate image repair, it's not confidence. It's panic. And Hollywood sees all of it. Studios don't care about moral narratives, so they care about risk. And right now, Blake Lively isn't an asset. She's a legal landmine waiting to explode mid-contract. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni doesn't have to perform authenticity. He just has to show up with receipts. And every time Blake's team collapses under its own contradictions, his credibility increases without him even speaking. That's how reputation battles are actually won. Quietly, brick by brick, while the opposition burns themselves down in public. Because here's the uncomfortable truth no one in her camp will say out loud. Blake Lively isn't losing this case because of Justin Baldoni. She's losing it because of Blake Lively. The contradictions. The PR optics over evidence. The emotional story over factual reality. The belief that sympathy could replace proof. But sympathy collapses the moment the mask slips. And it's slipping. Behind the scenes, the energy in Hollywood has already shifted. Studios may not say it publicly, they never do. But privately, they have one rule. They don't invest in chaos. And right now, Blake isn't a leading actress. She's a liability with a courtroom attached to her name. Executives don't care about emotional narratives, hashtags, or curated magazine interviews. They care about stability, predictability, and public trust. And Blake has lost all three. Insiders are already whispering the same thing. If a jury catches her lying once, the brand dies. Not the celebrity, the brand. The endorsements, the America's Sweetheart image, the safe PR face of luxury ads and studio-backed franchises. All of it because once the audience stops believing you, you're no longer marketable. And the irony? This entire lawsuit was supposed to protect her image, not destroy it. But the more she fights publicly, the more she exposes inconsistencies. The more she tries to control the narrative, the more she proves she's losing it. The more she speaks for sympathy, the more the facts expose contradiction. And Hollywood hates uncontrolled narrative leaks. That's why the distancing has already begun. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, in silent meetings and unrenewed offers. A paused contract here. A circle back later email there. A mysteriously delayed press announcement. That's how careers die in Hollywood. Not with a press release, but with silence. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni doesn't have to spin anything. His case doesn't rely on public sympathy. It relies on documentation. He doesn't need PR, because facts don't need emotional packaging. Blake built her case like a performance. Justin built his defense like a paper trail. And juries don't reward performances, they reward proof. Which is why everyone watching this now sees the shift coming. This isn't a smear campaign anymore. This is a credibility collapse. And the more Blake tries to control the fallout, the more she accelerates it.